What was meant to be a routine promotional interview turned into one of the most explosive confrontations in daytime television history. Two powerful women, one microphone, and a moment so raw, so unfiltered, that it would leave millions around the world questioning everything they thought they knew about fame, victimhood, and the price of unaccountable power. This is the story of the morning Robin Roberts decided she would no longer bow. The stage was set at Good Morning America's Studio A. The lights hummed with that familiar, sterile warmth, calibrated, precise, and unforgiving. Crew members moved with practiced efficiency, adjusting cables and checking camera angles. The red light blinked on. The countdown began. And then she walked in. Meghan Markle didn't just enter the room. She arrived. Hair perfectly sculpted, blazer tailored to the millimeter, smile rehearsed to convey warmth but calculated to maintain distance. Every detail was intentional, every gesture measured. She was ready to perform. Robin Roberts sat across from her, composed, poised, and veteran of countless high-stakes interviews. But there was something different in her eyes that morning. A quiet steel. A stillness that suggested this wouldn't be another soft landing. The pleasantries were exchanged with practiced ease. Meghan smiled. Robin smiled back. But underneath the surface, tectonic plates were shifting. The first questions were gentle, almost tender. New projects, partnerships, the mission behind her expanding brand. Meghan leaned forward, her voice smooth as polished glass, speaking of amplifying unheard voices and shifting culture. She called it a movement. Robin nodded, pen in hand, listening intently. But her next question landed like a stone dropped into still water. Movements usually require sacrifice, Robin observed. What have you sacrificed? The air thinned. Meghan's smile flickered, just for a fraction of a second, before she launched into a litany of losses. Privacy, peace, relationships with an entire institution. She spoke of vilification and attacks. She spoke of being lied about. She spoke of everything. Robin didn't flinch. You're still here, still talking, still building. Some would say that's not sacrifice. That's strategy. The first crack appeared in Meghan's composure. Her jaw tightened. Her voice carried an edge now as she insisted that strategy and sacrifice weren't mutually exclusive. But Robin pressed further, moving into the territory of money. Reports of a doubled fee for her Netflix series. A request for more, much more than anyone expected. Meghan laughed, but there was no warmth in it. She framed it as a gender issue. Men negotiate every day without question. She asked for what she was worth. Robin set her pen down and looked directly at her guest. The room grew quieter. So it's true, she said calmly. You did ask for double. The tension escalated from polite discomfort to something sharper. Robin wondered aloud if Meghan was building a brand on grievance. If every interview, every project, every negotiation was about what was done to her rather than what she was doing for others. Meghan's smile vanished entirely. I'm not grieving, she said coldly. I'm thriving. But Robin wasn't finished. She spoke of viewers who wrote in, people who wanted to support Meghan but struggled with her tone. Dismissive, superior, inaccountable. Did she hear that feedback? I hear noise, Meghan shot back. I don't mistake noise for truth. Robin leaned back, her voice calm but edged with quiet fury. So everyone else is wrong and you're right. Say that. The studio shifted. Crew members glanced at each other. The atmosphere had become electric, dangerous. Meghan crossed her legs with deliberate slowness, a gesture of control. She insisted she didn't exist to make people comfortable. She existed to live her truth. But Robin countered with surgical precision, pointing out contradictions that could no longer be ignored. Privacy, yet multiple documentaries. Silence, yet the loudest microphone in the world. Criticism of the monarchy, yet clinging to the title it gave her. Help me understand how those aren't contradictions, Robin asked, her voice steady as stone. Meghan's voice sharpened. She spoke of control, of finally owning her narrative. But when she defended keeping her title, Robin's response was swift and devastating. You didn't earn it, Meghan. You married into it. The air went cold. Meghan stared at Robin, her expression shifting from surprise to raw fury. Excuse me? Robin remained calm. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm stating a fact. The title came through marriage. The platform came through association. Meghan's voice dropped to an icy whisper. You have no idea what I've been through. No idea what it took to survive that system. Surviving and thriving off that difficulty are two different things, Robin replied, her tone almost gentle but unyielding. Right now it looks like you're doing both. Meghan shot to her feet, hands gripping the armrests. Are we done here? Or are you planning to keep twisting everything I say? Robin didn't move. Her voice stayed steady. We're not done. Sit down, Meghan. For a long, agonizing moment, Meghan hovered, poised to walk, to storm out, to prove every critic right. But the cameras were rolling. Millions were watching. The calculation behind her eyes was almost visible. Slowly, reluctantly, she sat back down. The questions grew sharper. Robin turned to family, the royal family Meghan had publicly criticized. Did Harry's family deserve the same space to share their side? Meghan's laugh was bitter. They had centuries of narrative control. They would survive her telling her truth for a few years. But your truth implicates them, Robin pressed. It damages them. Don't they deserve a right of reply? The entire British press is their right of reply, Meghan snapped. Robin leaned forward. And yet, when they do respond, you call it an attack. When you speak, you call it truth. How is that fair? Meghan's eyes flashed with indignation. She insisted she was telling what actually happened. Robin's voice grew quieter, more dangerous. How do you know that's not exactly what they think about you? The conversation spiraled deeper into territory no one expected. Robin raised reports of bullying, difficult behavior, staff leaving in tears. Meghan dismissed them as palace plants designed to discredit her before the Oprah interview. But Robin refused to let it go. Former friends who don't speak to you anymore. Family you've cut off. Staff who left. Robin listed, her voice calm and precise. At what point do you consider the common denominator might be you? The silence was deafening. Meghan's voice cracked with fury. So now I'm the problem? I'm asking if you've ever considered it. No, Robin, I haven't. Because I know who I am. Robin's voice hardened. Boundaries or scorched earth? Because from the outside, it looks less like boundaries and more like burning every bridge that doesn't bend to your will. Meghan's composure was shattering. Her hands trembled slightly. She accused Robin of a disgusting characterization. Robin asked her to name one relationship that ended well, one person who wasn't cut off or criticized. Meghan refused to play that game. But Robin insisted. Leaders reflect. They acknowledge mistakes. They show growth. Have you ever been wrong, Meghan? About anything? The question hung in the air like a blade. Meghan stammered. She'd made mistakes, but when pressed to name one, she deflected, trusted the wrong people. Robin dismissed that as blaming someone else. Try again, she said coldly. Meghan's voice dropped to an icy register. You're really enjoying this, aren't you? Robin didn't blink. I'm doing my job. Is there one moment, one decision, one statement you'd take back? Meghan crossed her arms, her face hardening. No. Not one. Robin sat back, her expression unreadable. That's remarkable, because most people who've been through what you claim to have been through come out with some humility. Some understanding that the world is complicated. But not you. You're blameless. Everyone else failed. Everyone else lied. Everyone else is the problem. I never said I was a saint, Meghan shot back. No, Robin agreed. But you've built an entire empire on being a victim. And victims don't have to answer for anything, do they? They just collect sympathy and cash checks. Meghan shot to her feet again, her voice shaking with rage. This is a hit job. You invited me here to ambush me. Robin stayed seated, her voice calm but deadly. I invited you here to have a conversation. You're the one who can't handle questions. Sit down, Meghan. "We're not finished." The two women locked eyes. The studio was completely silent. Even the crew had stopped moving. The tension was so thick you could feel it pressing against your skin. Robin's voice dropped lower, each word deliberate and devastating. "You wanted this platform. You demanded this attention. You built your brand on being heard. So sit down and be heard, or walk out and prove every critic right." Meghan's face was a battlefield of fury and calculation. For an agonizing moment it seemed she might leave. But slowly, reluctantly, she sat back down. Robin gave a small, cold nod. "Good. Now let's talk about Harry." The name landed like a grenade. Meghan's expression hardened to stone. "Harry is off limits. He's your husband. He's part of your story. How is he off limits?" "Because he's not here to defend himself." Robin tilted her head. "Everything you've done, the marriage, the move, the media empire, the rift with his family, he's not a footnote, Meghan. He's the reason you have this platform at all." "That's insulting. I had a career before Harry." "You were on a cable show," Robin said, her voice flat. "You weren't a household name until you started dating a prince. And now you're worth millions because of that connection." Meghan's hands gripped the armrests. Her knuckles were white. "I'm worth millions because I work, because I create." Robin leaned in. "You've built something on his back, turned his struggles into content, his estrangement into episodes. Does that ever bother you?" Meghan insisted Harry chose this. She supported him. Robin's next question was surgical. "Did you encourage him, or did you isolate him?" Meghan's eyes narrowed. "What are you implying?" Robin's voice was ice. "Before you, Harry had relationships with his family. Imperfect but intact. Now his brother won't speak to him. His father barely does. All of that happened after you. Did they reject you? Or did you demand he choose between them and you?" Meghan's voice rose in fury. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Then tell me," Robin pressed. "Tell me you didn't isolate him from everyone who loved him before you came along. I freed him from people who controlled him. And now he performs for you," Robin shot back. "For Netflix. For the cameras you control. How is that freedom?" The silence was suffocating. Meghan's composure was cracking, her carefully constructed armor splintering under the relentless assault of truth. Her voice trembled as she called Robin cruel. Robin's response was quiet, calm, and utterly devastating. "I'm honest. What I see is a man who used to smile, who used to have lightness, and now he looks tired, isolated, like he traded one prison for another." Meghan's voice shook. "That's a lie." "Then why does everyone who knows him say the same thing?" Robin leaned forward, her voice dropping to a whisper that seemed to echo through the studio. "You don't get to monetize someone's suffering and then cry foul when people ask questions." The interview had become something else entirely. A reckoning, an exorcism of secrets. Robin turned to money, how much Meghan and Harry had earned from their royal trauma. 80 million from Netflix, 20 million from the book. Sponsorships, appearances, all of it built on Harry's last name and his family's dysfunction. "You act like victims," Robin said. "But victims don't negotiate 9-figure deals, Meghan. They survive." "You're not surviving. You're thriving off his bloodline." Meghan's voice cracked with fury. "I won't apologize for success." "I'm not asking you to apologize for success," Robin replied. "I'm asking you to admit what it cost. Who it cost. It cost us everything." Robin's laugh was short and sharp. "Everything? You live in a mansion. You have security. You have wealth most people can't imagine. You lost proximity to a family that by your own account mistreated you. That's not losing everything. That's winning." Meghan's eyes filled with tears, but her voice remained defiant. Robin didn't relent. She spoke of Harry, how he used to smile, how he used to have lightness, and how now he looked drained. She accused Meghan of turning his trauma into content, his estrangement into currency. Meghan stood abruptly.
Robin kan mandet her tog sit.
Meghan refused. Robin's voice dropped, final and cold. "Then walk. Prove me right. Meghan stared at Robin, her chest heaving. The tears were real now, but so was the fury. She accused Robin of inviting her to destroy her. Robin's voice was steady. I invited you to have an honest conversation. You're destroying yourself. Meghan ripped the microphone from her jacket and threw it onto the chair. The thud echoed through the silent studio. She turned toward the exit, heels clicking against the floor. But Robin's voice stopped her cold. Meghan. She didn't turn around. Running away doesn't make you brave. It makes you exactly what they said you were. Someone who can't handle the truth. Meghan spun back, her face flushed with rage. The truth? The truth is that I was never going to win with people like you. No matter what I said, no matter what I did, you were always going to tear me down because that's what you do to women who refuse to shrink. Robin stood now, her voice rising for the first time. Don't you dare make this about gender. This isn't about you being a woman. This is about you being unwilling to take responsibility for anything. You've hurt people, Meghan. You've used people. You've profited off pain. And when anyone dares to point it out, you hide behind victimhood. I am a victim. No, Robin said, her voice dropping to a whisper that cut deeper than any scream. You were a victim, past tense. Now you're something else entirely. And what's that? Robin's voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of a verdict. A cautionare tale. The words hung in the air like smoke. Meghan's mouth opened, then closed. She had no response. Nothing left. She turned and walked off the set without another word. The studio door slammed behind her. Robin stood in the silence for a long moment, her expression calm but etched with steel. She turned to face the camera, her voice steady and unflinching. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say something. This program has always been about honest conversations, about giving people a platform to share their truth. But truth without accountability isn't truth. It's just noise. She took a breath. Meghan Markle came here today expecting another stage, another opportunity to control the narrative. But the narrative isn't hers alone. It belongs to everyone affected by it. Harry, his family, the people who worked for her, the public who's been watching this unfold. Robin's voice softened slightly. I don't take pleasure in what just happened, but I won't apologize for it either. Because sometimes the kindest thing you can do is stop pretending. Stop enabling. Stop letting someone hide behind buzzwords and deflection. She paused, her gaze steady and commanding. If you walked away from this interview feeling uncomfortable, good. That means you were paying attention. And if Meghan walked away feeling exposed, maybe that's the first honest moment she's had in years. Robin straightened her notes, her voice returning to its familiar anchor warmth. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. The camera faded to black. But the echoes of that conversation would not fade. Across social media, news outlets, and dinner tables around the world, the interview became an instant cultural flashpoint. Some called it brutal. Others called it necessary. But everyone agreed on one thing. Robin Roberts had done what few had dared to do. She had refused to bow. In the aftermath, Meghan's camp released statements about media bias and unfair treatment. But the footage spoke for itself. The questions had been fair. The answers had been revealing. And for millions who had followed the Sussex saga with a mixture of fascination and fatigue, something had shifted. Because accountability is not cruelty. And truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is not an attack. The lesson, perhaps, is this. Fame can amplify a voice, but it cannot protect it from reflection. Celebrity can build an empire, but it cannot insulate you from the consequences of your own contradictions. And in the end, the most powerful thing anyone can do is not to control the narrative, but to live a life that doesn't need controlling. Robin Roberts didn't destroy Meghan Markle that morning. She simply held up a mirror.